Hello my fellow wizards. Today I want to talk to you about the brand new Archmastery system coming to Wizard101 with the next world, Novus, which we should be seeing hopefully very soon in the next test realm, whenever that is, but I would assume it would be in the next couple of weeks. This has been teased by the developers in several live streams and on Twitter, so I've essentially compiled all the information I could find from a variety of different sources. Everything will be linked down below in the description if you want to see, more specifics than what I have gathered here. But it's coming from live streams, Twitter, a bunch of different places. So we're trying to kind of compile everything together just for ease of kind of talking about this new system. So what is the Archmastery system? So it's a new kind of pip system coming to the spiral that's called School Pips. So just to go over the basics really quick for people who maybe not be as experienced in this game, up until now, we've had 3 different types of pips in Wizard101. So pips are those little circles you see when you are in a fight, in a battle, and they relate to how much a spell costs to cast in the game. So before, up until now, we've had regular pips, which are the little white ones that count as 1 pip towards a given spell. There are Power Pips, which are the golden yellow ones. Those count as 2 pips towards your native school. So if you are a Storm Wizard and you have a Power Pip, it counts as 2 towards any spell you're going to cast, but will only count as 1 towards, say, if you're a Storm Wizard, maybe you want to cast a Fire spell. That Power Pip will only count as 1 towards the Fire spell, but 2 towards you as a Storm Wizard if you cast a Storm spell. Okay, so those are the 2 main ones. And then we also, with the introduction of Chrysalis, have the Shadow Pip, which is on sort of a different bracket than your normal pips, and it counts towards shadow spells only. And shadow spells may require a combination of your regular pips, so either the white pips or the power pips, and shadow pips to cast. Okay, everyone up to date? Everyone understand? So we've had those 3 up until now. This is a brand new type of pips called a school pip. So school pips count as power pips towards the specific school they're from. So if I'm a Storm Wizard and I have Fire School Pips, I can use the Fire School Pips as power pips for any fire spells I'm casting. So those school pips, just like power pips, count as 2 towards your school. Whatever school these school pips are will also count as 2 towards that specific school spells. So again, this can be a little bit confusing with all the different types of pips, but essentially school pips are power pips for the given school that they are. So there can be life school pips, fire school pips. There's any of the different schools have school pips that you can assign, and they count as power pips towards that school. What is unclear, which we'll have to see, maybe this will be revealed in Test Realm, is people are confused. Can you use school pips as power pips towards your school, your native school? So, for instance, let's use the Storm and Fire again. If I'm a Storm Wizard and I have a Fire School Pip, can I use it as a power pip towards the Fire School spells and then also as a Storm power pip towards my native school of Storm? That's a little bit unclear if they have sort of that dual ability to be used, or if it's just like if you have a Fire School Pip, it can only be used as a power pip towards your Fire School spells. That we need to figure out. So there's going to be some stuff here that may be subject to change, or we'll find out more information as Test Realm comes out. So not all of this may be completely accurate information. We're just going to have to wait and see. This is just what we know so far. So bear with me, it may change. We may find out new information. So up until now, we've gained regular pips and power pips and shadow pips. Some of that it can be affected by your gear. So for instance, the one of the big ones is like the Sky Iron Hosta wand, for instance. There's many different wands and other things that give you extra power pips or regular pips to sort of add it at the start of battle when you go into battle, but that's one example that comes to mind is like the Sky Iron Hosta gives you a power pip right off the bat on top of what you would already have. Shadow rating also increases, for instance, the chance of shadow pips, and that can be found on gear. So higher level decks can give you extra pips at the start of a battle. So there's all these different gear sets up until now that have given you the ability to either add like shadow pips more likely to pop in early, or give you a power pip or a white pip at the start of a battle. So how do you get the new school pips in battle? Okay, that's where the Archmastery system comes in. Just like power pip percentage chance or shadow pip rating, Archmastery, it honestly may go in here actually. It's going to be the new sort of rating at which how quickly you would gain these school pips, from what we can tell. So, much in the same way that I might have on my deck, I get that singular white pip at the start of a battle, the deck gives me that. Or, you might have jewels that give you extra percentage power pip chance. It's going to work the same way with Archmastery, in that it's going to be just an additional stat that can be added to your character either by leveling up or through gear. So there's 4 sources of Archmastery that have been revealed to us so far. So like I said, there's sort of just a base stat that you'll just have. So you always have a base stat of power pips and shadow pip ratings. So like, see, it says 75 base. That's just what I have from being this level and leveling up. So as you gain levels, that will go up over time. But it can also be found as a bonus stat on decks, just like I showed earlier. So it may show up here, just like, you can see shadow rating, or it might give me a pip. It'll also appear on decks. It will also appear on jewels. And it's supposed to appear on the tier jewels and square, is what we've been told so far. So not the others, but just tier and square is where you should be seeing it. And it will also appear in the future as a pet talent, much in the same way that you could get, there's talents for, power pips and etc. It's going to work the same way with Archmastery, where it's an additional talent that you can get a boost from with your pet. So how much Archmastery do you need to get a school pip quickly? According to the devs, the best possible fill rate you can get, if you prioritize getting a bunch of Archmastery stats, so you put it on your deck, you put a jewel on, you get a pet talent, you get all that stuff, the best possible rate at which you can see you generating one of these new school pips is you can get it 1 school pip per round. Okay, so you could get like round 1 of the fight. If you have high enough of a stat, you could get it literally round 1, get a school pip right off the bat, and then get one every round. I guess there's also evidence that you need 100% power pip rating as well. Like that is somehow affects school pips as well. Again, not totally clear how those two will be interacting, but it seems like they're saying there's a link between power pip percentage and the new school pip. So if you have 100% power pips, that will also sort of boost your chance of getting school pips. But again, it's not totally clear what the interaction is going to be, or how those different stats affect each other. So what does Archmastery do, really? So when you're in a fight, and I'll throw up footage right now of me in a fight with like shadow magic, just like you have a shadow rating, you can see the little bar that goes up as you go through each round of battle, and if you have a higher shadow rating, the bar fills up faster, and once the bar fills up, you get a shadow pip, okay? Archmastery with the school pips is going to work in a similar way, in that instead of sort of the shadow bar, you're going to have a power orb that fills up. That's what they're calling it, a power orb. So when your power orb fills up over time, because if you have a higher Archmastery rating, or whatever they're going to call it, your power orb will fill up faster and you'll get the school pip faster. So when it fills up all the way, it automatically converts one of your power pips into the new school pip. Okay, so unlike shadow rating, so once your shadow bar fills up, you just pop, you get a shadow pip, right? This works a little bit differently because it's going to convert one of your power pips that you already have into a school pip. It's unclear how this is going to work. Say you power pip fail a bunch and you only have white pips. It's unclear, like, is it can convert 2 of the white pips into a school pip, or is it only if you don't have any power pips, you're just not going to get a school pip? Unclear. I'm not totally sure. That's what we're going to have to see when the new test realm comes out. As an added bonus, with the power orb filling up, if your Power Orb, if you filled it up 3 times, so you have 3 points in it, so three school pips, it will then also convert white pips into Power Pips for you. So if you've been pip failing all over the place and you have a bunch of white pips, if you already have 3 school pips, it's going to do you a favor and start converting all your lame white pips into Power Pips for you. So I guess that's a nice little addition where it's just like, all right, these are going to get upgraded. Your white pips are now upgrading if you're holding on to 3 points in your Power Orb. In addition, you can also change what kind of school pips you generate with a new feature that's going to be in your deck. So there's going to be some kind of new feature somewhere in here. Obviously, we don't have it available at the moment to see, but there's going to be some kind of feature that allows you, when you're in your deck menu, it might be, I don't know if it'll be down here, or you'll have to go actually into the actual spell deck menu to access it, but it will allow you to change what kind of school pips you're going to generate. So by default, your school pips are going to match your given school. So by default, if I'm a Storm Wizard, I'm going to gain Storm school pips. However, I can change that to be any of the other schools if I want to. So there'll be a button somewhere in this interface, I assume, that will allow me to change. So I'm a Storm Wizard, I have default Storm school pips. I can change that to Life school pips if I want to. I can change it to Death. I can change it to Balance, I assume. So you can change what type of school pips you generate with your deck. And because you may have multiple different types of decks, maybe I have one deck that's set to have Myth school pips. Maybe I have a deck that's set to Death school pips. So you can have a bunch of different decks with different setups saved on them. So you don't have to set it up before every battle. You could just have a bunch of different types ready to go, and just that's what it will default to then when you get into battle, is whatever your deck setup is. So here's the big crazy thing that's going on with Archmastery. You can not only change, what type of school pip you get in your deck ahead of time, you can also change what type of school pip you're getting in the middle of combat. So you don't have to set it up ahead of time. You can change it even after you get into combat, which is kind of crazy. We've never seen that type of customization in a fight. Usually it's like you got your deck set up, you go in, you can't change it. You're stuck with what you have in your deck. This allows you to change it even in the middle of a fight, which is insane when you think about it. This has never been seen in Wizard 101 before, so that's crazy. Basically, let's say you go into battle. I've got my deck set up to give me Fire School Pips, and I get a couple of them in the fight. And then I'm like, you know what? I want Myth School Pips now. There's going to be an option to change in the middle of battle from one school to another. So I could change it from Fire to Myth. I could change it from Death to Life. Whatever you've set up, you aren't stuck with it the whole fight. You get to change it. It will not change, however, what school pips you've already gotten. So if I'm a Storm Wizard and I have my deck set to Myth School Pips, I get 1 Myth School Pip, and I'm like, you know what, I want to change to Life School Pips now. I'm still stuck with that 1 Myth School Pip. It'll only affect the next school pip I generate, so if I switch it, I then have to wait to generate the next pip, which will be the new school I just set it to. At least from what we can tell so far, you cannot convert school pips into other school pips. So if you've already generated a certain type of school pip, you're stuck with it. It's stuck as that school. You can't change it. It's like, that's what you've got. You're going to have to wait for the next one to generate to get the new school. So no conversion as of yet. Obviously, that may change. Changing your school pip setting while in combat, so what I just discussed, does not change your deck setting. So if you have your deck set to generate Fire School Pips, you go into the fight, you change your mind, you're like, I want some Death School Pips, that's not going to change your deck setting. It's still going to stay Fire. So when you go into the next new battle, it's still going to be Fire, and you're going to start with the Fire School Pips again. So you don't have to worry about, I changed my school pip in battle. Do I now have to fix my deck because now it's set to the new thing? No, it's going to stay as what you set it as. So you don't have to keep resetting it. So that's at least a nice quality of life thing they're going to do. Now let's talk about general functionality for how the school pips are going to work. So school pips act like power pips, as we've already discussed, but they are harder to get. So they're going to hold additional value when the devs are calculating out school damage and auditing school spells. So I know that the devs have slowly been working through, if you aren't aware, auditing all the different spells in Wiz to better sort of be accurate to the different schools and how much damage and how much utility they're having. So certain spells, if they do damage and then also have some utility like healing on top of damage, they may do less damage than a school that's just straight damage. So it's like, it's how they're calculating out the value of a spell. Okay, so school pips are going to hold additional value when the devs are calculating out how much damage or how much value a card is going to have than power pips, because they're harder to get. They're going to act in the same way shadow pips do. So some spells will always cost shadow pips to cast. So for instance, if we go into our spell deck and go all the way to shadow magic, Glowbug Squall is always going to cost 1 shadow pip to cast, and like then 5 regular pips as well. So it's going to work the same way with school pips. There's going to be some spells that are always going to require at least a school pip or multiple school pips to cast, or maybe a combination of a school pip and power pip. So we're just going to have to see. So just like shadow spells may require a shadow pip and then in this case 5 regular pips, school pips may work in the same way where they cost multiple types of pips to cast. We're going to have to see how that works. You can pip conserve off of school pips. We have that confirmed. So pip conversion, you have a certain percentage chance to conserve pips when you use them, so you get to save a pip or you get a pip back essentially. It's going to work the same way with the school pips. We know the priority for pip use is apparently, and again, this may be subject to change, this is what we know so far, it looks like the priority is going to be power pips, then school pips, then white pips. So again, we'll see if that changes, but you know, some people want to know these types of things because it may affect what spells they're comfortable casting, because they want to know how many pips they're going to have left. So that's the priority that's currently. School pips are going to, obviously, for the PvPers out there, it's going to impact PvP. I think the motivation behind putting this new system in is because they want to see more secondary school usage in general, but particularly in PvP. As many of us have seen, some of the newer gear they've been pushing in the past couple months has a lot of secondary school stats. So they obviously want PvPers to be using multiple types of schools when they're fighting, but it seems like they also want to extend that out to PvE as well, because honestly, up until now, the dual school stats kind of have had no impact on PvE because it doesn't make sense to do it that way. With the way our current system is, it just makes sense. If you're fire wizard, you just want to use your fire gear, your fire spells. Like, there's been no motivation to make dual school usage valuable in PvE until now. So clearly they've recognized that and are trying to do something about it. Talking about the fact that you will need multiple different types of pips to cast a spell. So like in this, like we just talked about, shadow pip, and then I need 5 regular pips. You may need in the future, this has sort of been teased, you may need different school pip than your school to cast a spell. So what do I mean by that? So for instance, maybe you're casting an ice spell. You're an ice wizard, you're casting an ice spell. But maybe some of these new ice spells also require a death school pip to cast. So we may start seeing, what I'm taking away from that is we may start seeing almost like dual school spells. So we've seen dual school gear where maybe there's a storm outfit that also has some life damage on it. But we may see in the future, not for sure, but we may see in the future dual spells. So it might be an ice spell, but maybe there's a death element as well, so you need a death school pip to cast it. So I could see that, for instance, with ice specializes in defense, so usually an ice spell might do damage, but it might also give you shields, for instance. Well, what if an ice spell had a drain effect like death and was able to do damage, but then like a death spell convert some of that damage into HP for you, just like death is able to do, but maybe it costs a death pip to cast because it's sort of a dual school. It's an ice spell, but it has a death element, so you need a death school pip. Again, this is just what I'm I don't know this for sure, but I'm guessing that might be how it works based off what teasers I've seen. So something to keep in mind, that this may revolutionize not just gear, but also future spells we may be seeing. So this is actually a really big change, because this may change so many things about combat. It's actually crazy. So I'm really interested to hear what you guys think about all the possibilities that this new system brings into play. One other question that I think may come up from people is how this will affect mastery amulets. So mastery amulets, for people who aren't as familiar, give you the ability to use your power pips for another school. So if I'm a storm wizard and I have life mastery, I can use my power pips. Normally those would count as 2 only towards storm spells. I can use them now as power pips for life spells as well. So a lot of non-life wizards can use a life mastery amulet, for instance, to cast healing better, because they can use their power pips to cast those high-level heals. So I assume mastery amulets would still be the faster, easier method to go if you want to regularly use other school spells. So like I said, if you are not a life school, maybe you're a balanced wizard and you want to heal a lot and you want to be a support, you might still want to use the life mastery amulet, because it converts all your power pips into use for both balance spells and life spells. Because school pips, you don't generate them every round. You may have to wait for them to be generated, and they have more value. So it's different means of accomplishing the same goal, which is being able to use more school spells that are not of your main school. But it seems like they're gonna have different functionality in that mastery amulets that use all power pips towards a given other school, and school pips are rarer and sort of cost more for spells. So similar output in that, like I said, if I'm a storm wizard, I have a life mastery amulet, I can use power pips towards life, or I'm a storm wizard and I can generate life school pips and use them in the same way, but one is definitely seems like faster than the other. The life mastery amulet is faster to use, depending on what kind of spells you want to cast. So again, it depends on what you're trying to accomplish in a fight, what role you're trying to play, I think. But just something to keep in mind is school pips are similar in a lot of ways to the mastery amulet, but I think will play a different role in a given fight. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see how it plays out. We'll have to see what the new meta is after these changes. I'm actually, like, it's one of those things where you're like, change can be scary. When I first saw they were doing this, it's like, oh no, I have to worry about a whole nother pip system when I'm in a fight. Oh boy. But the more I've looked into this, the more I'm realizing, like, this could really change it up for Wiz in a way that I think Wiz combat, especially in PvE, I've noticed gets kind of stale, where you just blade, feint, and then hit and it's over. This could really give us a lot more flexibility and a lot more options. So I'm actually genuinely excited to see, where this takes Wiz, where this takes future combat, especially for PvE, and just, does this get rid of the old formula of, blade, AoE, essentially, that we kind of have all been stuck with for a while, because it's just fastest, but maybe this will give us some new things to work with. So let me know what you all think in the comments below. Do you think this is a good change? Are you not excited for it? What other questions do you have about how this is going to work? Again, I just want to be clear. This is all just information I've compiled. It's probably going to change in Test Realm. A lot of the graphics you see are going to be subject to change and will probably look a lot more polished when they actually go live. We'll see how they look in Test Realm. So just keep that in mind, as none of this is set in stone for sure, especially the way it appears in battle. With the graphics you're seeing. So anyway, let me know again what you think about all this in the comments, and hope to see you out there in the spiral, and happy questing.